This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
And welcome inside the CZ Studios. With me today, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch, at the Patriot Mobile Microphone. Yes, sirree. It's all brought to you by you-know-who, the NRA. Greg in Dallas, Texas. How you doing today, my brother?
Not too bad. I can smell the weekend.
Yeah, well, you know, too bad you're not watching on screen, because I got my AAR Hawkins hat on. Yes, I have a hat that says AAR Hawkins, and I don't generally wear trucker hats, but this one says AAR Hawkins, so how can you go wrong with that?
I'm sure. Okay.
My man.
Yeah.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch the program, you can do so on Facebook.com/Armed American Radio, Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. You can also watch us over on Rumble, Rumble.com/Armed American Radio, or however you get to, just Rumble.com and Armed American Radio. I guess it's Rumble.com at Armed American Radio, Greg, or Armed American Radio at Rumble.com, or Rumble.com/Armed American Radio. You guys know how to do it. You've been living
search for Armed American Radio and you'll find
on Rumble. Yeah, just do that. That makes
You're making it difficult.
I can't help it. I'm in one of those moods. I'm in a good mood today. Let me take a sip of my Celsius. Hold on. Ro, that could be why.
Yeah, the chat tablet just fell, so.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, I have to put the chat on the larger tablet so I can read it.
Okay. Well, for this half hour, I'll let you do your thing. You do your thing, and then I'll do my thing. And then we'll do our thing,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
How about that?
Other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. You can also watch us on X at AAR Mark. You can head over to the website, which is armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, if you'd like to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, I guess that'll do it. That'll work. I think, right?
I think so.
Andy's not here today, right?
He is not.
No Bigfoot, no Bigfoot, no aliens, no Loving Monday. Greg and I had a funny exchange yesterday by text message because Andy sent me some meditation music he thought I would like. And I don't even know the name of the band. All I can tell you is for some reason, I was mesmerized. It was that I could not understand one word that human being was uttering in English. And I went to college. And I loved English class, believe it or not. I couldn't understand one word he said, but there was something about the just constant drum beat and pounding of the heavy metal guitars that I could not stop listening to. And he says, here, this will help you meditate. And I said, oh, thanks for sending it to me. As soon as I listened to it, it put me right to sleep.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Yeah, so we don't have to contend with any of that today. Greg, we're going to Google gun control for the first half hour. And then the second half of the show, Scott Coburn from Patriot Mobile is here, and we have some things we want to talk about. We're going to get his pointers. We're going to get his perspective on some of the top stories that are out there. So we'll kind of hold off on some of those. So Greg and I, right before we went live together, Googled gun control. And my top story on the Google gun control was Kids Over Guns resolution reintroduced by Metro Council. That Kentucky General Assembly, that didn't sound really exciting to me, so I'm going to move down to Vermont. The Vermont Digger, Vermont lawmakers narrowly advance bill increasing gun restrictions and crimes. I'll tell you what's really interesting about Vermont. And Greg, I know you know this. Listeners, many of you know this too, because I do know the age demographic of the listener base on this program across the country. Many of you will remember when constitutional carry was originally referred to as what, Greg? Do you remember?
Was that Vermont carry?
Vermont carry.
Yeah.
For decades, carrying without a permit, open or concealed, was widely and lovingly referred to as Vermont-style carry. Do you remember that?
I do, and it's a shame it had to be referred to as Vermont carry instead of just constitutional carry to begin with.
Yeah, well, it was the only state in the nation for many, many years. Vermont had virtually no restrictions on carry at all for decades, and they had zero problems. Who controls Democrat? I just gave it away, but we'll do it again. Let's try this again. Who controls the Democrat? Hold on, let me try this again. Do the Democrats control Vermont, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
and
that's basically.
They have for decades, okay? There's just a way around it, all right? It is what it is, but we already knew that. The question is, did I do all that intentionally? That's going to go down as one of your life's great mysteries because I will never tell you that. I won't. Maybe I will later in the show. But, and it's all or nothing. It wasn't part. It was all or nothing. That was legit. But was it intentional? Anyway, just for fun with you. But it was we always referred to that style of carry. Everybody in the country wanted Vermont-style carry, at least who was playing in this arena, right?
Yeah.
Vermont has always had wacko lunatics in Washington. They've always had Democrats in Washington.
That are libertarians.
Right, and it was never an issue. They never moaned about it. Nobody ever griped about it. Gun control was never on the agenda. There wasn't a problem. Was there crime in the bigger cities? You always say bigger cities. Are there big cities in Vermont? Sure there are. Burlington's a big city. It's not as big as,
Houston.
As Houston, right, which is a sprawling zoo.
Houston's the size of Connecticut, just Houston alone.
Yeah, I know. That is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, then Hartford is a big city inside Connecticut. So put it in perspective. But there's crime in every city controlled by every Democrat in this country. And there's crime in cities, let's be fair and honest, there's crime in cities controlled by Republicans, even though the big major cities in this country are controlled by Democrats and have been for decades. The point that I'm making is there's always been crime. Always been crime, Greg. And
correct.
There was never a problem in Vermont. Vermonters just went about their lives. I don't even think people that lived in Vermont gave it a second thought. I just don't. Until Columbine and the recent, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'll just say, I want to get the right word here. I'll just say modern, the modern push for gun control. That will work. Post-Columbine. Then all the Democrats got on board because what do all the Democrats do when the Democrats get together? They stick together.
Boy.
So all of a sudden they found problems in Vermont that didn't exist. And, now Vermont starts pushing gun control when it was never an issue in Vermont ever before. And guys, there's a method to my madness here because the proof is in the pudding. They made it a problem. They made it an issue. They created narratives so that they could drive that narrative so that they could push their gun ban agenda in every state and city they controlled. Indicative of the fact that the Democrats, and you got to hand it to them, Greg, are very good at sticking together. They are. They just are. They've been doing it forever.
Well, yeah, and COVID's the most recent example.
Big example, yes.
And the lengths that which they will go.
And post-COVID, I think it's important to point out, they've become even more glued together. Why? Because of their hatred for Donald Trump. There's that common denominator there. Their hatred
and those
for
of
Donald
us
Trump
that support
overrides
Trump.
any common sense. And those of us that support Trump, that's correct. to a point that you have Susan Rice making physical threats of violence against her political opponents, making clear that companies, corporations that toe the line during a Trump administration will pay the price. These are overt, not covert threats. Now, we all know that companies and various individuals and CEOs will donate to whatever political party is in power. It's just the way the game is played. Today's day and age has changed. But back to Vermont, because all this ties together, because as we're talking about Democrats. Vermont lawmakers narrowly advanced bill increasing gun restrictions and crimes. Let's look at this and see what this is. Guys, we're doing this in real time for you. A fiercely debated provision that Democrats wouldn't give up and Republicans didn't support would bar people from owning or buying guns while they're receiving court-ordered mental health treatment. Montpelier, Vermont. Representatives in the House Judiciary Committee narrowly advanced this bill. Committee members passed the bill Friday just in time to meet a deadline when bills generally must make it out of committee to get a chance at becoming law, otherwise known as, maybe crossover day, whatever you call it, sine die, whatever they call it, wherever you are. But all 6 Democrats on the committee, including Chair Representative Martin Lalonde, Democrat, South Burlington, voted in favor of the bill. Greg, this was never an issue before. It's 2026. Why wasn't this an issue in 2016, in 2006, in 1996, in 86, and 76, and 66, and 56, and 46, and 36, and 26, and 16, and 06? Why? Because it was never an issue until the Democrats decided to make it an issue. It's just indicative of the narratives that they push. And ladies and gentlemen, when you tie that to what they're doing in Virginia right now and other states across the country that they control, and I did see some when I was looking at the Google gun control. We'll talk about some more of them. Gretchen Whitmer's name was on there, and I guarantee it's right in line with this. It is. Why do I know that without reading it, just glancing at it? Because she's a Democrat, and she hates guns. And it's the Democrat narrative to come after your guns, even in a place like Vermont where it was never an issue before, ever. Bernie Sanders never had an issue with it until all of a sudden he had an issue with it. We'll be back right after the break. Don't go away. Segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters here in the CZ studios, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here in front of the Patriot Mobile Command Center microphone at the Patriot Mobile Command Center Ranch. Brought to you by the NRA. Make sure to visit nra.org/AAR, nra.org/AAR, nra.org/AAR. I will be in Houston, all confirmed in an 8 by 10 foot booth. I should say 8 foot booth, 8 by 10 foot booth at Media Row. We'll have a big one there. And we're going to have a whole litany, whole lineup. We'll be there broadcasting this program live on Thursday, live on Friday. And in between that, we'll be taping segments for the Sunday Monster Cast, and we'll be meeting with you. If you're going to be there, make sure to stop by and see us at Armed American Radio, and we'll be out and about with some of our friends that we've known for many years over there and some of our current partners who have booths, including Patriot Mobile. Scott Coburn's going to be here at the bottom of the hour. We'll have some fun with Scott. So if you're going to be at the NRA convention, make sure to look us up. And if you're not a member, you get into that for free simply by joining the National Rifle Association, nra.org/AAR. You can visit them and all of our great partners over at armedamericanradio.com. More about them coming up as well. But it's simple to do. We make it easy for you. Don't forget. Oh, Greg, while we're at it, how many cups of blackout coffee do you think I had today? This is a good one, by the way.
I'm going to go with, let's change it up a little bit and say 3.
That was a pretty good guess. If you got the under, if somebody went over and said 5, because it was 4.
Oh. Okay.
And I think that might be why I'm in a good mood today, because I actually got a lot of sleep last night. I mean, I guess that depends on how you look at a lot of sleep. I guess that's a subjective thing, but I was playing guitar till about 2:30 in the morning just because. And then I slept till about 8:30, which for me is really good. Got up, had 4 cups of coffee or 3 cups of coffee. Today, blackoutcoffee.com, ladies and gentlemen. Use it, blackoutcoffee.com/AAR, blackoutcoffee.com/AAR. And if you're watching and you like watching us on YouTube and all that, you see that QR code up there, please hit subscribe. We need you to help us continue to grow, and many of you are, and we do appreciate that very, very much. Those algorithms are opening up for us. We're providing content to the social media outlets every single day, and we're getting a lot of really good feedback from the outlets themselves, but we need your help on that, and I would appreciate it if you would do that. It's real simple. Just click subscribe, okay? We don't bombard you with stuff. You get a short video and a live video stream every single day on the social media outlets, so please help us out there. We would appreciate that greatly. All right, Greg, back to Vermont real quick to close it out. Democrats created a new narrative in the modern post-Columbine era, and it's now impacting states. And Vermont is a great example of that because you never heard about crime in Vermont. Was crime rampant in Vermont when they had constitutional carry, Vermont-style carry?
Not that I recall. No.
Never an issue, was it? Not until the Democrats made it an issue. You see how they infect everything, ladies and gentlemen? It just is what it is. It's an evil ideology. It just is what it is. And up there by Vermont, let's go down to the next story here. Mass shootings in Rhode Island revive push to ban possession of assault weapons. So here we go again with assault weapons. Yet another reason why the Supreme Court of the United States has got to step up to the plate and put a stop to this quickly. Because the Democrats will continue to do this and push this everywhere they possibly can. Don't think they don't meet behind the lines and talk about this amongst themselves, because they do, ladies and gentlemen. They do. It doesn't matter if it's state, federal, whatever. They're all working in tandem, all of them. So let's see who we've got. Lawmakers in Rhode Island. Let's click on that and go there while we're live. See what we got coming up here. Come on, browser, open up. There's my 3rd cup of coffee. Mass shootings in Rhode Island revive push to ban possession of assault weapons. That's behind a paywall. I will never go to the Providence Journal ever again. So forget the Providence Journal. Who in the world would pay to go to the Providence Journal, Greg?
I have no idea. I'm stumped on who would.
The same idiots that pay to go to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Wow, in today's day and age, ladies and gentlemen, if you're paying for that stuff, okay.
They're still paying for the New York Times.
Yeah, you must be. You're getting the print edition. Are you wondering where the paper boy is every Saturday morning or Sunday morning? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here it is. Whitmer joins Michigan. I just saw her name. I didn't read the headline. It's the first time I'm looking at it. Michigan Advance. Whitmer joins Michigan's Democratic leaders and advocates calling for reforms to stop gun violence. We have to go here. What more? Oh, and right on the front page is Governor Whitmer, Big Gretch. with a bunch of lunatic End Gun Violence Michigan orange clads back there, and they've got little kids in there too. And I hate to see that when little kids are being used as props like this. I hate that.
Yeah.
And they are. They're being used as props. But boy, it sure is a diverse group of people behind her. I'm sure that wasn't a prop either. Everything is identity with these folks. Where are we going with this? State's leading Democrats on yesterday, garbage day, of course, fits, joined a crowd of anti-gun violence advocates. Let me ask this. Isn't everybody an anti-gun violence advocate when you think about it? That's why I carry a gun.
Yep.
To stop gun violence against me. Isn't that a fair statement?
Yes.
Yeah. So they hijacked the language. Whew. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Senate Majority Leader Winnie Brinks. And what do we want to name her? Well, our last name's Brinks. Let's name her Winnie. And we can call her Pooh. Bet that came up in conversation. How much you want to bet? That came up in conversation.
She's probably been called Winnie the Pooh her whole life.
I bet her nickname growing up was Pooh. Come here, Pooh Bear. Where's Winnie? Oh, see how easy this is to do? That's what you do. Yeah. Winnie Brinks, Democrat from Grand Rapids, and House Minority Leader Ranjiv Puri.
Oh, boy.
Democrat Canton joined End Gun Violence Michigan, the Episcopal Diocese of Michigan, and several individuals working in violence prevention in reflecting on the impact of various reforms, passed in the wake of the 2023 mass shooting at Michigan State University. The legislature, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you know is controlled by Dems, back at that time, Greg, passed a few measures. What do they call it here? Quote, later that year, requiring universal background checks. How's that worked out for you, Detroit? Setting safe storage requirements and creating a legal framework for judges to issue extreme risk protection orders to temporarily remove firearms from possession of individuals at risk of harming themselves or others. Sometimes a red flag law. You get the routine. Last year, more than 500 extreme risk protection orders were filed in Michigan and 407 were granted. Now, I don't have Michigan's homicide numbers up in front of me right now, but you honestly believe that 500 murders were stopped by the issuance of those risk protection orders, Greg?
No, not
of course not. Not only is there no way to know that, but you can look at the numbers, because we did that for Florida. I think Florida's numbers, forgive me, it was in this ballpark. It was about 1,046 homicides in 1 year. Polk County alone issued like 2,400 risk protection orders. That's under Grady Judd. Do you really believe when the entire state had like 1,046 homicides that Grady Judd's risk protection orders that they served stopped an additional 2,000 murders? The answer to that is no, because Florida's murder rate has never been that high ever before. It's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's a farce. It's a scam. It's a hoax, just like your global warming nonsense. And by the way, the polar bears are going to be just fine. I promise you that. It might snow in the wintertime and it might get hot in the summertime. There's always that. Big news this week in the weather was Phoenix is going to be over 102 degrees. Woo! Just a few weeks early. That's cause for alarm. It is if you're a Democrat. Everything's cause for alarm. When we come back, Scott Coburn from Patriot Mobile, the Chief Marketing Officer and our good friend at Patriot Mobile, will be here. And we're going to talk about some really cool stuff with him. We'll probably touch on Virginia and a couple other issues as they pop up in real time because it's live radio and we can. We'll be back right after the break with Scott. Don't go away. following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. Let's see if we can get the split screen up here for us, because we have a good guest coming in right now, and we love when Scott comes in, and that is Scott Coburn. Scott Coburn, of course, the Chief Marketing Officer with Patriot Mobile. We have a lot to talk with Scott about today. We're going to move quick, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it is. Buckle in. Time flies on this broadcast. It flies on this broadcast. We are here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch in front of the Patriot Mobile phone. You know what to do. It's patriotmobile.com/AAR, patriotmobile.com/AAR. And we'll talk about all the cool stuff going on over there with Scott in just a few minutes. Scott Coburn, welcome in, my friend. How are you doing, brother?
Mark, always good to talk to you, my man. It's been a little while. Got a lot of things going on, as you know, and let's just rock and roll. Let's get it going.
Let's rock and roll. First off, let's talk NRA real quick, because you are going to be at the NRA. Now, I kind of don't like to mention this, but I do, but the other big three carriers won't be there. They're not going to have booths there, but you will, won't you?
Oh, man, we're going to be loud and proud. You won't be able to miss us. Let's put it that way. And if you can't see us, you'll certainly be able to hear us, because our fearless leader Glenn Story is going to be there, and you can typically hear him before you could see him. He is about as loud as it gets, and in a good way. So we'll be there.
He's the kind of guest you don't need a microphone for, Scott.
No,
one mic
microphones
works.
Needed.
But he's got such a great story to tell. But it is always fun, like the last time you were on, we talked a little bit about that, and I don't like to mention the other three names. It really doesn't matter, but of course I'm referring to AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Did I just say that? I did. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Guys, they're not going to have a booth there. Patriot Mobile does. And, that's important for a number of reasons, Scott, because who would have ever thunk that a mobile phone company, but it's more than a mobile phone company, I'll let you go there in just a minute, would actually be there in support of Second Amendment rights. To me, that still is mind-boggling, because large corporations around the country have generally not supported not just our gun rights, but our rights in general. And my hat's off to you for wearing the Second Amendment and all of your Christian conservative values on your company sleeve and on the mission statement, right smack on the website, ladies and gentlemen. It's all there. Go see it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Scott, tell us about it.
Mark, you are 110% correct, my friend. And we're proud of the fact that we'll be at the NRA and any other. I'll tell you what, you get me a group full of gun owners and 2A crazies like me, I can promise you we'll be there. And because that's what we're called to do, right? I mean, that's what makes us different. Sure, we're a great cell phone company. We're one of the best. We offer all three networks. Great U.S.-based customer support, all that. But people don't come to us only for our great service. They come to us because of who we are and what's in our DNA. And what's in our DNA is to passionately defend our God-given rights and freedoms, and to do it in a way that would glorify God. And that's why we're excited to be out there at NRA, talking to all our friends out there, and just telling people that there's an option, right? You have an option with your cell phone service. You don't have to support the big three, who I can guarantee you, as you accurately said, do not really have our interests in mind. They don't share the same values and beliefs that we do. So we want to provide a good alternative for our customers to come on over, make a switch, and make a difference.
Here's a question that popped up while I was listening to you, and kind of maybe a philosophical question. What are they afraid of? Why are they afraid? Think about this for a second, Scott. I mean, let's just really put our heads together and think about this in a patriotic sense. This is the 250th anniversary of this great nation. Every single American should be wearing their patriotism on their sleeve. We should be waving flags. We should be going crazy over our support for this nation. And we've got companies who, for what reason, will not support what is likely, or could be anyway, likely half of their customer base. What are they afraid of? Why are they afraid to talk about God? Why are they afraid to talk about constitutional rights? Why are they afraid to use the word patriot or patriotism? What in the world is going on? Really think about that one. Is there an answer for that?
You know what? I wish there were, because it's been on my mind for a long time, and it's a shame. These once great American brands that were iconic for their patriotism and their support and love of our country and our freedom have just gone completely off the rails. And the only thing I can think of, Mark, is it has to be some sort of higher thing with the infiltration of their boards or institutional money or dark money. Some other influence from above has filtered down into these great organizations, once great organizations, and caused them to just completely lose their minds. And now, I mean, we're just reaping the benefit, right? I mean, we just want to sit back and say, hey, while you guys implode and, self-inflicted wounds, you've seen it time and time again with all these incredible brands, we're just going to sit back and say, we're going to do what we do, keep our heads down, work hard, support our customers, defend our freedom, and provide exceptional cell phone service. That's what we do.
You know, what's interesting when I'm listening, I think about the patriotism aspect of this and why companies are afraid. I think you're right on that. I think it had to have been an infiltration at the top level of the boards because that's where wokeness came from, et cetera. And maybe they're just playing along whims. Social media companies were notorious for this. And, of course, the day of Trump's election, you had Zuckerberg from Facebook go down to Mar-a-Lago and actually meet with him that day. And, Scott, this is not coincidental. That very day, Facebook opened up for Armed American Radio. We had been blackballed, blacklisted, and shadow banned with over 80,000 followers that we couldn't even reach. And we watched it open that day. That's not coincidence. And I wonder what held them back over all of these years. Are they making so much money that more money from another half of the population really doesn't impact them? If that's the case, that's pretty frightening.
Very frightening. Very frightening. It's a shame. It's a shame. Coca-Cola just can't be really good at making Coca-Cola, right. Or Anheuser-Busch can't just be really good at making beer. That's really what we all desire is, right? Look, let's just everybody do their thing, do it well, do it to the best of your ability, and move on. And don't get wrapped around the axle with all this crazy political stuff. But, here we are, right or wrong, we're in an area where, this parallel economy, red economy, whatever you want to call it, is a reality and it's here to stay. I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere. So
I agree.
The only thing we can do now is dig in, and we just got to make the best of it on our end and provide our customers with what they're asking for.
Which is just good old service, good old patriotism, a belief in God, and a belief in constitutional rights. I've never been able to wrap my head around what's wrong with those ideals. That's how we got here. And AT&T, right. It's funny, AT&T, not to pick on them, but it's easy to do. But you're going back to Thomas Edison. You're going back to Ma Bell. You're going back to the original phone. I mean, you talk about the history and the long stories of these companies. It's so sad to see what they've become. And I don't even think they see it. I think they've been so jaded and so blinded by whatever it is that has infected them.
You're 100% right. I don't think they see it. And you mentioned something earlier that I think bears going back to, and that is the social media and the media and the media itself, the fake media, and has just skewed everything in this country. Nobody knows what to believe anymore. And if we don't get back to the one source that we should all be looking to, which is the Holy Bible, to me, that's really the source of everything we should be doing should be rooted in that, right? So if you can't tell me the difference between a man and a woman based on what you're hearing on the news, come on now. I mean, let's go to the one source, the true source.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're going to a break on that note because I could have taken off on that one. Thanks for bringing that up. We're going to take a break and we'll move on to some other topics. But when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Scott Coburn. But you're spot on, Scott. And like you, I don't understand that fear. And it's so good to see a company that does support that. Guys, Patriot Mobile is going to be at the NRA April 16th through the 19th in Houston. I will be there. I'll be hanging out in the booth with them. I'll have a booth. They're going to be over at my booth. We'll be doing interviews, and we'll have a lot of fun together. And if you're going to be there, I want you to stop up, shake Scott's hand. Okay? Come meet Glenn. Come meet me if you haven't already. Join us at the National Rifle Association. We're talking with Scott Coburn, the Chief Marketing Officer over at Patriot Mobile. And by the way, if you're watching on your devices, this is a Patriot Mobile activated phone. You can have one too. We'll be back with Scott right after this. Don't go away. It is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back. Yeah, guys, welcome back. Final segment of the show. We'll get back to Scott in just 1 second. I want to point out that because I do this every show, every single day, I'm holding up my Attorneys on Retainer card. Again, this is Armed American Radio. If you've made a decision to carry a firearm, you are very well aware that there are bad, evil things and people around. That's why you carry a firearm. And if you, God forbid, have to use your firearm to defend yourself, your family, and in today's day and age, your community and your country, you're likely going to need a lawyer. Because it doesn't stop there. There's going to be an investigation. And you're not entitled to a lawyer by the Constitution until you're charged with a crime. You're going to want one long before that. You're going to want it instantly. You're going to want to be able to call your attorney. Without this card, if you have one, good for you. Even if you do, you're going to spend a lot more than if you have this. I'll tell you that in just a second. If you don't have this card, you're going to wind up having to call a lawyer that's going to cost you a ton of money. This is $37 a month, and you've got the largest self-defense law firm in the country. They will be there on scene within minutes. Your own lawyer. And if you get charged with a crime throughout an investigation, however long it lasts, you will have up to 4 attorneys. 4, count them, 4. I'm holding up 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4. At your table with you, defending you, keeping you out of trouble, for defending your life. Attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. Attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. Make sure to visit them and all of our great partners, including patriotmobile.com/AAR. Patriots Relief. You know where to go to get them. ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Do your shopping over at budsgunshop.com. All that fun stuff. Let's get back over to Scott Coburn from Patriot Mobile. Scott, welcome back to the program. It's always a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
Likewise, Mark. Let's keep it rolling here. We got some good combo going, and let's see where it goes.
I wish we had another hour. I've got a fun story for you that you might not be aware of, but really is going to be fun to talk about. You're familiar with the Second Amendment Foundation and Alan Gottlieb and the Firearms Policy Coalition winning lawsuits in our world every single day, Scott, as you well know, along with, in conjunction with the NRA, where we will both be in less than a month from today. In fact, 4 weeks from today, that will be winding up. So I'll be seeing you in about 3.5 weeks over there in Houston. But the Second Amendment Foundation just won a case in federal court in Texas. And if you are a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, existing member, current, or a future member, Scott, you can now carry your firearm in a post office, in a U.S. post office. Now,
I love it.
Isn't that wonderful? Now, I had a conversation with Gottlieb about this the other day. I had some questions. I was watching Four Boxes Diner with my good friend Mark Smith, and I shot him a text, and I got the same response back. I said, does this mean open carry as well? Does it have to be concealed? And the response I got back was, that depends on state law. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to advise that you walk into a post office openly carrying a gun because, Scott, as you know, the Postal Service workers might not be aware of this. They might call law enforcement because it's been a violation of federal law for so long, and still is if you're not a member of the FPC or the Second Amendment Foundation. But can you imagine now, Scott, you know how many people I do. I've got a post office box at my business. I go check it sometimes at midnight if I'm out and about. I've been disarmed for years and years and years, kind of, sort of. There's always that wink and a nod, and concealed means concealed. I'm not telling you what to do, ladies and gentlemen, but I can promise you at midnight I have a gun on me if I'm out. I have a gun on me at noon if I'm out. But now it's legal if you're a member, Scott. Isn't that talk about a step in the right direction. It's just one thing after another. We keep winning, but the media never covers it, Scott. It's frustrating.
Yeah, we're chalking up some wins. I saw that too, and we do a little work with the Second Amendment Foundation, and Lauren and Adam, the guys over there, have been awesome. I'll tell you, that's a big win because if there's one thing we know, criminals are going to target no carry zones. So whatever we can do to keep eliminating as many of those as we can, the better, right? So I'm just saying, look, here in Texas, man, we're constitutional carry, and we exercise that. Matter of fact, if you walk through our office right now, I think you'd probably see about 80% of the people in here are carrying. But
no, I never asked you that. Oh my gosh, I am so. Let me apologize. As many times as we've spoken, I've never asked you that question. Pox on me.
Yeah.
Repeat that again. If you walk in Patriot Mobile offices right now, ladies and gentlemen, if this don't get you off your duff to do something, because I guarantee the other 3 are gun-free zones. I can promise you that. Scott.
Yep.
You mean
we
your
are
office
loud
is safe?
proud, like I said.
I can't believe that.
That's what we do. And I'll tell you, it's so refreshing too, Mark, because we all carry, and when we hire a new person and you see their eyes light up when they're like, "Oh, you mean I can actually carry here?" We're like, we encourage it. What are you talking about? That's who we are. And it is just refreshing. Yeah.
I cannot believe. I apologize in advance. I've never asked that question of you, either in a private conversation or on air. Thank you for bringing that up. Ladies and gentlemen, see, that floats my boat right there. Let me ask you this. That begs, I wish I had another hour with you to talk just about this. Have you ever had an applicant come in and say, "You carry guns in here?" Now, you're in Texas. You just said, "Oh, you mean I can carry here?" Have you ever had the opposite response? I'm just curious.
We've had everything and in between, but for by and large, people know if they do any amount of homework about us, they're probably going to figure out there's a good chance of what they're walking into. However, we do get that reaction every now and then. Wait a minute, you mean you guys are all carrying in here? We're like, heck yeah, we are. I mean,
it's Patriot Mobile after all, Scott.
It's Patriot Mobile, and here's the other thing, Mark. You and I have talked about this. There's a thing going on here, the Islamification of Texas. The Muslim Brotherhood is moving in. I'm telling you, it's happening here. And we're all targets. If we speak out against people that are coming after our Constitution, we're targets. So we believe in protecting ourselves and standing up for our Second Amendment rights.
Yeah, and I said this the other day, and I'll do it again because I can, and it is loud and proud. The Democrats support those who scream and shout, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar," before they open fire or drive their car through a mosque or whatever it is they do. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. Scott, you're spot on. It's not just Texas. Texas is clearly a target for them. There's no question about it as wanting to change. But it is remarkable that there's a political party in this country that defends that. Over 200 Democrats voted not to have an ID to vote. What in the world is happening? It is, isn't it?
It's incredibly insane. The fact that I have to have an ID to get on a plane, check into a hotel.
Yeah.
You name it. What's the big deal here? We can't require an ID for something as important as shaping the direction of our country and forming the laws that guide our country and our citizens. Really? I mean, come on now. This is getting a little out of hand.
Yeah, man. Listen, I know Greg is going to tell me because there it is, 30 seconds. Scott, tell people where to go so that they can contact your all-American staff in Texas that are carrying guns when they're talking to them about Patriot Mobile. Where can they go get you, brother? Tell us. Spit it out, baby.
It's real easy. Go to patriotmobile.com, patriotmobile.com, or call 972-PATRIOT, and make sure you tell them Armed American Radio gets you a free month of service. Let's get it done.
Yeah, and you know what else, ladies and gentlemen? If you want to, and you're enjoying the conversation with that all-American customer service rep down in Texas, you can talk about what kind of gun they're carrying, too. Try that with your current provider. Scott, thank you for bringing that up. That was huge, man. I can't believe I never even thought about asking you that on air. Good heavens. Pox on me for that. Scott Coburn, Patriot Mobile. We love you, man. Fan favorite for a reason. It's always good to hear from Scott, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, if that doesn't open your eyes to who Patriot Mobile is, now we've all known that, but we've never talked about it. That was just beautiful to hear. PatriotMobile.com, ladies and gentlemen. Support this company that supports your right to bear arms. Good heavens. Hey, you know what? We're going to get up and do it again because they don't want us to. So tomorrow, we'll see you on the radio. Same bat time, same bat channel. Be safe out there, guys. We'll see you on the radio.
You just filled your prescription for freedom on Armed American Radio with Mark Walters, the loudest voice in America fighting for gun rights.
Oh, wow, ladies and gentlemen, I really am. I apologize to Patriot Mobile that I've never asked that question. Greg, that's bad on my. I've never asked that, and I'm glad he brought that up. That's wonderful, guys. If that doesn't open your eyes to who Patriot Mobile really is, I don't know what to tell you. That was it right there. And I was blown away when I heard him say that. It just hit me. I can't believe I've never asked that question as the host of Armed American Radio. Good heavens. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Support them. Get a free month of service. Wonderful people over there. And ask them what they're carrying. Because better than 80% of them are Texans carrying guns in their Patriot Mobile offices. And they're encouraged to do so. Next time you're talking to your other service providers, ask them what kind of gun they're carrying. See what kind of response you get. Yeah, the people that are taping the call and listening to it, I'm not going to like that conversation. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Hey, guys, tomorrow's Friday. It's Greg's favorite day of the week. We are going to get up and do it again tomorrow. So until we meet on the radio again tomorrow, carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever been caught outside his cave without his club. Make sure to join us at the National Rifle Association meeting in Houston. Reps from the National Rifle Association will be on Sunday's national broadcast. And I'll see you literally on the radio tomorrow. Like and share the post. Subscribe over on YouTube. That's a big deal for us. Please follow us over on Facebook at Armed American Radio. Same thing over at Rumble and X at AAR Mark. But in particular, YouTube. Please subscribe to us over there. We would appreciate it greatly. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. See you on the radio tomorrow, guys. Thanks for tuning in today.